Welcome back at long last to Old Rope Salvage. Just in case you might have forgotten, I'm Lisa, he's Tim, and this is the 1975 Bedford fire truck we bought off a bloke on eBay and shipped to our workshop in a barn on a farm in Cornwall at the end of 2020. We've spent the last 2 years restoring the truck so we can eventually, hopefully, turn it into an off-grid home on wheels for us to live, work and travel in. The restoration has generally been going really well, but like most big projects, we've been held up by, what do you call it? Oh yeah, unforeseen circumstances.
This whole channel might turn into some kind of homeless vlog soon, so that'll be fun. With a cat.
Most recently, we were unceremoniously evicted from our rented house, and with nowhere else to live, we were forced to take a break from the workshop whilst we sorted out our lives.
It's going to drop in a little clue. Hang on.
No way, I'm not doing that.
Well, after a challenging few months, we are back. We will fill you in on those missing months soon, but before we delve back into the workshop,
Getting quite greasy here.
let me bring you up to date a little from our new abode. Oh hi, and welcome back to another Old Rope Salvage video. It's a little bit of an unusual start to this one, and that's just because I want a couple of minutes just to explain a little bit about where we've been. Well, we've been here all along, obviously, because we still exist even when we're not making videos, but we've had quite a lot of upheaval in our lives the last couple of months. We're both fine, everything's fine, and we're in a really good place now. Tim's actually back at the workshop right now getting on with stuff, and I'm just here in our new house. And when I say house, I use that term a little loosely, but we'll be talking more about that probably in our next video. For now, I just want to say I'm really sorry we've been gone for such a long time. It just got away from us in the end. Up until I think probably beginning of March, we were still going into the workshop, and then I was back at the house then having to pack up our whole life, start selling off furniture and that sort of thing, because as you might remember, we were evicted from our rented house over winter. It's been a long, hard winter, but we are out the other side of it now. Life is really good. We've been filming everything as we've gone along. I just haven't had a chance to do any editing for ages. But I have been editing this week, and what I've done is I've gone back in time, sort of back to February while we were still living at the house. I'm not in the video at all, apart from this, so make the most of me while I'm here. But I've gone back and I've edited everything that Tim was doing back in February, just so you know where we are with the project and we can catch up a little bit. So I'm going to take you there now. Back to winter, sorry about that, and then I'll come back to me a little bit later and catch up with you again. So enjoy. Here's Tim.
Well, nothing's escaping. Everything's getting taken apart. This is the brake master cylinder. These are the reservoirs. Not the easiest of things to get off, and one of them's broken. The plastic's all gone brittle, and it looks pretty dry on the inside. So this bit here is the master cylinder, and the bit back here is the what is operated by the air brakes, which is kind of then like on a normal car it's your brake servo, which is vacuum operated. This is like compressed air, and it's this sort of assistance to the brakes. So when you put your foot pedal down, it kind of pumps the air in it, and it assists your braking effort. This is the bit I'm most worried about. These are expensive, but until I take it apart, we don't really see what sort of condition it's in. So I guess that's what I've got to do, is take it apart and have a look, see what it's like on the inside, and then go through there. I'm not sure what's in here. I'm guessing it's some sort of air reservoir pump thing. Maybe there's some big seals in it and some pistons. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? It's a shame there's not a Haynes manual for this thing. I believe you can get manuals, but every bit that I see that's online or anything, they're very expensive. And you have to have lots of different ones. One for the brakes, one for the engine, gearbox, one for the axles. Anyway, I'll take this apart and have a see what's inside. Hopefully I'm not doing this completely wrong. Yeah, the rear wheel cylinders on the truck, I've taken one of them apart and it wasn't that great. The trouble is it's sort of, I think the brake fluid sort of absorbs moisture into it, and you can get water into your brakes system and that's what corrodes it out. Until I take it apart, I don't know, because I don't know if the brakes were working that well on the truck. Working and leaking probably. I might take that part later. I'm quite excited about this. It's horrible stuff, but interesting to see what's inside.
I've been chasing down this dream for as long as I've known. Sometimes I get to thinking that my life might be wrong. I wonder what kind of man I'd be if I hadn't moved away from my hometown and my folks. Wonder what I feel like today. All this here thinking's enough to drive a man insane. But my mind has always been like
I've taken the circlip off the back of here, taken a little dump, the little plug out, and then these have been really tight to get undone, so I've been taking these all out. I'm a little concerned about how bad it's going to be on the inside. I had to break out the Big King Dicks to get my spanners on there, and I think I've loosened stuff up. Oh, and today's the first day I've been able to open the doors, because it's the first day that it hasn't been blowing a hurricane, and it's just appeared to me that these lampshades are a little bit annoying, bobbing around in the wind, the breeze that's coming through. It's like disco lights. Anyhow, they've all loosened off. These have all got rubber seals in them. Oop, better not lose any of them. Oh, it's absolutely, it's jammed. Weird. Well, that doesn't actually look too bad in there. It's encouraging.
I'm living's right. Might start going to church again. Maybe I'll just pray. Buy some crystals, meditate, burn a whole bunch.
Doesn't bode well, does it? It's not what you want to find inside your master cylinder.
It's always been just like the sky before the rain. I get so twisted up sometimes it's hard to catch your breath. If I keep doing this, I might think myself to death. If I keep doing this, I might think myself to death.
The insides of this need to be really clean, really smooth, no rust in it, and that's the way the seals here can sit in there and then nothing, no fluid can get past them. But this is obviously very dirty, and I'll have to clean all this up and see how bad any pitting rust is, and I guess see if it's salvageable. It's pretty grim. Ugh. Ugh. Next morning, very cold morning today, 1 degree C. There's a dripping from the ceiling. So took the master cylinder apart yesterday. I'm not sure if it's fixable. All I can do is sort of clean out the inside a little bit, but there are a couple of places where it's pitted a little bit heavy. So I'm going to clean it a little bit more and have a really good look at it and try and work out where the seals lie. But one half of it is really good. The furthest end, this half, is really good. But this bit, where all the muck was in it, that has suffered a little bit. And right at the bottom, where some liquid, well, water has sat, I guess, it's sort of eaten it a little tiny bit, and there's a couple of spots where it's etched it quite deep. As far as I know, the only way you can fix one of these is either you buy a new one, if you can get one, because they're pricey. These whole units here, reconditioned, sort of like 500 odd quid. The other thing you can do, I think, is these can be cut out, reamed out, and then a liner put in, a stainless steel liner. But that as well isn't particularly cheap either. That's quite a lot of money. Anyhow, I'll just continue taking things apart and not fixing them, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take this thing apart. This is the booster that goes on it. Air comes in and boosts it. I have no idea what's inside one of these, so hopefully there's no really heavy duty springs or anything. Let's take it apart and have a look inside. I already loosened it off, some of it. Might take a little while, bear with me. Might put you on time lapse, speed you up a little bit. Oh, it's so cold. Oh, look. Ooh, what's all this? I should have found out a bit more about all this stuff before I take it apart. Probably got a similar thing over this side. Nice. I don't know if the seal is stuck inside here or the flange bits are stuck together. Well, this half doesn't look too bad at the minute. Not too rusty, so that's good. Let's see what this half is like. If I can get it apart. How do you get it apart? Don't like that. Who knows? That was a lot more of a struggle than I had hoped for. I feel like it should have just come apart. The steel bit from the aluminium didn't separate, and I didn't want to mess up any gasket seals that might have been in there. As it turns out, there weren't any gasket seals. I undid the spring off the end just in case that was what was holding it back, and I managed to get this one out by I lubricated it all up. Cleaned it out a little bit and then put the airline on there, and it just slid out. So it just, that was brilliant. And this end, I was trying to get around there to see if this, what was holding it in, and it felt like it was definitely being held. In the end, I put the airline on this one when I was down on the floor there, and oh, an almighty bang, and it popped apart. Yeah, it wasn't, there was no gasket going around it, but what there is a seal, a little rubber seal around this bit here that was definitely stuck into this bit, and there was quite a bit of force, I think, and when I put the airline on it, pressurized this side of it, and bang, did it pop. Wow. But yeah, that's all come apart now. Not really sure about the conditions of it all. This side again, really nice. The paint on there is perfect. There's hardly any grease left in it. I feel like these should probably be greased up a bit. It's all just dirt, and it's going to take a bit of cleaning up. I have no idea if you can get hold of these seals. I should imagine you probably can't. If you could get hold of new seals, brilliant. Otherwise we'll have to probably, I mean, it was working alright, so well, maybe I should just clean it up, put it back together again, grease it up, and actually see how it operates. This side is a little bit more, well, it's pretty dirty, and there's some, what I'd call sort of, it's corroded, but it's not really deep. Maybe that'll all clean up. I don't know, because it's only air in it. Can we paint it, powder coat it? I don't know. I think the best thing to do is really clean it all up, clean the seals up, have a good look at them, and see where we go from there. Try and remember how it all goes back together again. I should take some more photographs. Oops. Right, so I am currently flying through all the bits that need, like the smaller bits that all need powder coating. We've done all the silver stuff, did the whole pile of silver, did the gold. Wow, the gold, and there was only a few bits. They're just sort of like accenty bits, just, it makes no difference. It's no extra time, whatever colour we do stuff, so, but yeah, I'm still super impressed with, that's the little air tank that goes right at the front. You can kind of see it through the grille. Yeah, that's really cool. And then yesterday I got a load more done. So a whole load of parts here that were sandblasted. These are all going to get matte black. Yeah, this is one of the brackets that holds the air tank there. We've got all sorts of little levers. And hopefully this means as well I can put some stuff together again, because as we get more, less bits left to do, there's more bits you can bolt together. So, and as well as doing that, I've been doing odd bits and pieces as I go along. Like this is part of the steering box. I didn't want to sandblast this because there's some seals inside it. Didn't want to powder coat it. So I've masked it up carefully, sandblasted it, and just sprayed it with rattle cans. And the same goes for all of the body mounts. This is where the cab bolts onto the chassis. I've got rubber mounts. And another thing that I found brilliant with the sandblaster is a lot of these old rubber things looked pretty bad, and you sandblast it and it's like brand new. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. Get the oven up to temperature, powder coat these, and then do some more sandblasting, because there's still more to do. But the pile is definitely getting a lot smaller. I reckon another couple of days on that, and yeah, just leaves the big bits. The axles and the leaf springs. Need a bigger bench. A bigger bench means more bits. Don't have a bigger bench. More all done today, all now cooled down and ready to work, and yeah, definitely getting through it. And also means I can take a few of these parts now and actually put them back together again and put them back on the truck. So I better find the bits that match and the bits I have bolts for. This is what it's all about. This is the exciting bits. The steering box. I think I'm just about ready to reassemble it all. The steering box is just been painted. It's in the tent. It was sandblasted and aerosoled. I think that's going to be good enough. A couple of days ago I did that, so it should be dry now, and so I'll go and get that in a minute. Yeah, all the bits are now sort of done. All the plating was done, the powder coating, painting, cleaning bits up, all the grease removed, checking out all the seals. We're placing a couple of little bits and pieces here and there. Yeah, I got a new gasket to make up for it, and yeah, this is exciting. This is like bolting together brand new parts essentially. It's very different from taking apart the old grubby dirty thing to now putting this back together again. The project is going through a bit of that at the moment, sort of we spent ages cleaning stuff up and you get to put them back, and then once you put this back together again you can bolt it back on the chassis. So yeah, I'll just go and get that out of the tent, check to see if there's any sand inside it. I'm hoping there isn't because I've sealed it up pretty good. It was all cleaned out anyway, so I'll just sort of like just check it out and clean it out, and yeah, start reassembling all this, re-greasing it all, and building it back up. Right, go and get that out of the tent and I'll be back. Right, that's that. Right, now I've got my fingers crossed. I'm going to take all the tape off it and hope that nothing went inside it. I've sealed up all the little holes using sort of a bitumen-y stuff that's used for roofing. I'll dig them all out, and yeah, hopefully nothing went inside it. Got this bit in, greased it all up. I've made the gasket now, so that's going to go back on. Just got to put the top plate back on. Rubber seal went on the inside. It's a good job I've got a big tub of grease, because there's quite a lot of grease went in there. There is a grease nipple that goes through the top here, and once it's all back together again I'll top it up a bit with that. That's probably why it was so full in the first place of all loads of grease, because over the years it's just gone round, routinely squirted a bit more in, and it got to the point where they probably couldn't have got much more in there. That was pretty full. So yeah, I packed it just around where it needs to be at the moment. Some places the grease through can't actually get into, so it is a good job taking this apart and redoing it all, because in here there's a bushing and a little rubber seal. There's no way any of this would have got up there, so it's a good opportunity to get this resealed up, re-greased. Get a load in there. Right, let's put this back together. Getting quite greasy here. What else we got? Oh, fun things. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, I took this off because I wanted to get the get this a little bit further apart, but I couldn't get this piece here out, and I thought, well, I don't really need to. The bearings all seem great, so I left that intact in the end. It's nice. It's looking good. Looking really good. You to go on. We have to knock you down. It's coming together, isn't it? Yeah, I will do all these up tight. Don't worry about that. Alright, so the only other thing is, well, a couple of things. Got the grease nipple. This piece that goes in the bottom down here, and that supports the pedals. And then the steering arm's got to go back on, but I need to make sure that's in the right alignment. You don't need to see me do all this sort of stuff. It's just basically like putting things back together again. And then I've got to get rid of all the greasy fingerprints off it. Join me in a while when I've finished. Right, it's a little while later, but it's kind of all together. Covered in fingerprints everywhere. And I think this paint's still a little bit sticky. I should have given it a little bit longer to dry, I guess, in these cold temperatures. Goes on again to remind me why I really like this powder coating, because it's so durable compared to using paint, which is just a pain at the moment. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's all gone together quite well. Can't see any problems at all. I had to finagle a few things around, but yep, it's all lovely and working. It's all very smooth. Got rid of a little bit of play that was in one of these pedals, and I only left to bolt it back onto the chassis. Cool. Very cool. So yeah, both the pedals, the clutch and the brake, connect onto the back of this. It's going to be a little bit of adjustment going on, and a tightening up a little bit here and there, but it's definitely coming together. Right, back in the workshop after a bit of a break. Damn COVID! Yes, I've been off for quite a little while really. And I'm now reassembling brake booster, the air assisted part that connects to the brakes. And it's really cool having these shiny, clean bits to put back together again. It's quite an interesting thing how all this works. And before I started this, I hadn't got a clue on a lot of it. Then dismantling and restoring and cleaning all these bits up and putting them back together again, I get a really good understanding of how it all goes, how it works, and potentially a better chance of fixing things if anything should break. I can diagnose it. So yeah, this is quite interesting really. This bit goes, you operate the brakes, it regulates some compressed air, which then gets put into this, and then the plunger on the end presses into the master cylinder here and operates the brakes. And I've put together half of it, so when air gets put into the top here, it presses in the cylinder, and then that pushes the rod out at the end, and if that's visible there, which applies the brakes. And yeah, it's really cool. There's two halves to this. There's a cylinder in this half which pushes there, and then there's also this end goes on there, and there's a second cylinder in here which gets pushed. So there's two chances of it working. If one doesn't work, then it will still operate. I did do quite a bit of a weird experiment on this. Now, this would have worked in the state it was. When I took it apart, after cleaning it all up, the seals are really good, but there was some pitting inside this chamber here, caused by damp being in it, a bit of wear and tear and rust and stuff. And I've done this experimental repair on it. Bearing in mind it would have worked how it was, so if this deteriorates it will still work. The only thing, it will wear down the seals quicker because it was a rougher surface inside. But when I powder coated this, I sandblasted the whole thing inside and out, and I powder coated the inside as well, and then spent a considerable amount of time block sanding it all down, so it went through all the powder coat and left the powder coat in the low areas where there was scarring and corrosion and stuff like that, and it has made it completely smooth and filled up. So as long as the oil that's in here to lubricate it doesn't deteriorate the powder coat, then hopefully that's a fix. And so far it seems to work really well. There's no leaking in it, there's no nothing, it's smooth, and it's operating good. So that's really good. Basically all I've got to do now is continue putting this back together again, and that's another thing ticked off the list of things to do. So yeah, it's all good.
So that was February in the workshop anyway. And if you're still watching, well, thanks for that. Maybe go and get yourself a nice cup of tea as a reward for sitting all the way through all of that. I just really wanted to show you everything that had been going on with the truck up till when we had to really break off at the beginning of March. So hopefully you're a little bit more up to speed now. Winter's always difficult. There's only a kind of limited things that we can do in the workshop anyway. And I think Tim was pretty pleased about being able to take apart some of those tricky things, get them sorted and cleaned up, working, and put back on the truck again. So he just carried on day in and day out throughout all of that while I was mostly absent. So we did get to the end of February in the end. Oh God, it feels like a long time ago now, now that we're in May. It was a pretty long month, even though it's actually a short month. But when we got to the end of February, we both then had to break off from the truck project, because at that point, we had another project come along that was a little more pressing, because that project was what was going to save us from being homeless. And in our next video, I am going to just show you a little bit about what happened in March with that project and how we got from February to where we are now. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the people who got in touch with us, asking us how we are and everything. We really appreciate it. And welcome to any new subscribers if you've made it through to the end of the video. It's usually a little bit more interesting than this, and videos aren't usually quite as long. Anyway, I've nattered on for long enough, so we will see you back here, or maybe not here, in the workshop very soon, certainly within the next week or two, with that next video. And yeah, we really look forward to now getting back on track with the truck project and having a really great summer ahead. So from both of us, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.